Okay, we're giving it a sec. You ready?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Derek, you don't know where to look, do you?
No, I don't know. I don't know where to look at you.
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options, and I put you in a terrible position by standing over here, sitting over here. I think are we back now? Yeah? Okay, good. So yeah, today we're just kind of sitting in the pit with Derek, and we're gonna go through some concept art, and then live stream you working on a brand new thing. We're working on some cadence armor, which is like, so each class is gonna have armor that you can research after killing a specific number of a certain type of enemies. You'll be able to actually like research it and then equip it to your dudes as an alternative to the upgradable human armor that you have in the game. Yeah. And we don't know what that stuff looks like yet, which is cool. We have some really good ideas for what abilities it will grant your characters and stuff like that, and they're all based off of the enemy abilities, which also have not been implemented and stuff, but we thought it would be cool to just like take a stab, take a first pass at like what could this stuff end up looking like. So yeah, I don't know, it should be cool. So you've got some base stuff that we'll talk about in a minute, but the other thing we did over the last couple of weeks was really try to like hone in on the exact like what is the upgradable human armor going to look like, the level 1, level 2, level 3 armor. You know, how does that progression look like, and what is sort of like our finalized approach for armor for at least one character class. So we chose the Caberjack. It's kind of like our leading character right now. And then also, what would the hybrid classes look like? Like, they're gonna, by and large, wear the same armor, but we talked a lot about like, is there a way that we could showcase like, okay, this character is a hybrid between like primary Caberjack hybridized with the alchemist. Like, what does that look like? What can we do? And so we're gonna cut over to that. It was the image that we sent out about the Teamstream and stuff, but we're gonna cut over to that right now. Yeah, maybe magical. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so this thing, you went through a bunch of like iterations on this, trying to make the Caberjack look a little bit more armored than he has in the past, trying to make him look a little bit beefier and like... Yeah,
because next to the other guys, he looked a little skinny, especially next to the hunter, because he has that really big cape and stuff.
Yeah. So what were some of the things that you were looking at to beef him up?
His shoulder pad and like his torso. Before he only had like a couple leather straps on there, and so tried some like studded metal things.
I really like that stuff where, you know, especially you can see it on the shoulder pad, the left shoulder pad, and then also on number 2. It's really in all 3 of them, but I feel like it really comes out in the number 2 upgrade, that top center image. Like it's kind of like the cool, like studded samurai kind of armor that's like getting in there. And I think that this character is really cool and getting this I don't know, kind of like Eastern and Western flavor combined together, which is super rad and awesome. There's also the tassels and the belt, trying to work in the primary color and the secondary color of the house so that that will come through when you see it from like the top-down perspective and stuff. Also, you're doing all of these so these are actually screenshots of the camera perspective that you're gonna see the character at all the time, right? So I think that's really cool too, that it's, you know, we're not doing them just in like a T-pose, like just whatever, or just doing like cool concept art of the dude, and then like we get him in the game and it's like it's top down and it's just, oh yeah, it's a big surprise. Or is you actually doing it like right on what the players are actually going to see, and then we can hopefully translate that into the game, which is rad. So yeah, and really just like the progression, like beefing up the shoulder pad, beefing up the greaves, beefing up the gauntlets.
Yeah, and a cool thing that Andy's idea was to put the chest plate, that big V in the front, to give that like an extra shape that you can see. Yep,
and that was I think that, I can't remember who was suggesting that earlier. Where it's
actually that was
I think it came from John and Jeff. Yeah, Jeff like knows a lot about like you know, Western medieval armor and stuff. And yeah, I guess that a lot of those breastplates did have that, you know, come to a point to sort of deflect blades and stuff away from them. It's kind of rad, and it gives it a really beefy look, which is good. It really fills up the center of that of the character and stuff, which is really cool. There's also the shoulder, the right shoulder pad, that big plate. adding I really like the idea of putting that, I don't know, like one ridge on it for the first upgrade and then like 2 ridges on it for the second upgrade. Just makes it very obvious that it's like, yep, like this is an upgrade and this is, you know, the next one is an upgrade too. And so these are just going to be like linear upgrades that you research throughout the game, and they just need to get better as you go through, which is cool. So the other thing that we talked about was the hybrid stuff. So those 2 on the left, well actually if you start just on the progression, the studded left shoulder pad is kind of a new thing that you had on one of the concepts, and we're like, oh yeah, that's really cool and that could really work. And that's the same no matter what, which of the 3 armor upgrades you have for the character. Like if we can choose to just make that a standard thing, it doesn't matter which one you're wearing, and then like cool, that way we can swap it out for the hybrid classes with something else or accent it with something else, so that it won't matter. So that if you do have your Cabermist, your Caberjack Alchemist hybrid, it doesn't matter which upgrade that character is wearing. The left shoulder pad is like still the same no matter what. And you can see that one where it's like, okay, so we take some of those bottles from the Alchemist and put them on there. It's like, cool, that's the Cabermist, and then the Caberer. We're still working on the names, but the Caberjack Hunter hybrid has the shoulder pad that has those feathers that come from the hunter's like kind of ghillie suit looking thing, and I think that like it works really well, and it I think it's awesome. Like, it's gonna work.
It reads really well. Yeah.
It's cool. So we don't have anybody taking questions right now.
Yeah.
So if people can hold their questions, we're gonna cut this off in a minute. And then we'll come back up and it'll be your desktop, and you'll just be like working on what the cadence armor will look like for the Caberjack, because that's really the last piece of armor for this character that we have to design, is like what the cadence armor looks like. So this is actually based off of fossil demon. I'm trying to not say the word demon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to move away from that. But one of the fossil cadence characters, we're gonna have this kind of like bone shell idea. It's really there. Like, I'm pretty excited to see this get into the game, because a lot of people that play tactical games like know that one of the best strategies is to just focus fire. Just like you see an enemy, you see 3 enemies, it's like, okay, I'm gonna pick one and then have all my characters attack it. So so this enemy is gonna have this bone shell ability that the first time that it takes damage, it will kind of grow this like reactively grow this bone shell, and then give it a ton of armor for the rest of the round. So it'll really disincentivize doing like a big alpha strike on one character. And hopefully that's cool. Like, so that when you see 3 of them, you'll like, you know, a better strategy would be to do like one really huge hit on the 3 of them, and then kind of like set yourself up in a more defensive posture. At the end of the round, those shells will break off. Might have a cooldown on it, whatever. We have to implement it and see how it works. But I'm pretty stoked for that, and we thought that would be a really good ability to kind of steal, you know, to steal from the enemies and use on your own guys. And the makes a lot of sense for the Caberjack, which is like a real heavily armored character, to like give him this, you know, this bone shell kind of thing. So the armor would be weaker in other ways. That, you know, I'm not probably just stats wise, it would just be weaker. But being able to put him into a group of enemies and just like, you know, take one normal hit, but then the rest of them would just be like greatly reduced. It's kind of cool, and I think it will actually be a fun thing to mess around with. So yeah, so we're gonna cut this off in a minute. Talk about, there's some really cool ideas that you already have. So you did some work on this morning.
Yeah, a little bit of brainstorming, like really rough
and
sketches.
It's really rad. So you'll see some demon shorts and some bone zits and some other things. And I'm gonna go back to my desk and I'll be taking questions about it. And then yeah, we'll just have you jam on this thing the rest of the day and stream it out.
Okay.
Let us know if you have any questions, viewers. Thanks, viewers.
Yeah,
but
I'll try to pop in on the chat too.
Yeah.
When I can.
Yeah, that should be really cool. So sweet. We're gonna cut it now. We'll be back in a minute.